We begin 2 million years ago in the Indian subcontinent. Human survival relies on constant movement. People hunt wild animals, gather plant food, and leave behind no permanent structures. This timeline maps the Stone Age. We divide the earliest era, the Paleolithic, into 3 distinct phases: the lower, the middle, and the upper. During the lower Paleolithic, the toolkit is heavy and basic. Look at this Acheulean hand axe. It is a large, unpolished stone, roughly flaked on the edges to create a single multi-purpose chopping tool. Middle Paleolithic manufacturing uses the Levallois Technique, systematically shaping a stone core first so a single strike removes a predetermined flake. The Upper Paleolithic introduces blades. Artisans strike vertical cores to produce long, thin flakes, their length twice their width. Throughout this entire 2 million year stretch, human progress is measured by the refinement and shrinking size of these stone tools. There are still no buildings, no permanent farms, and no clay pots. Between the Old and New Stone Ages sits a transitional phase, the Mesolithic. As the climate shifts, hunter-gatherers adapt by shrinking their tools even further into microliths, tiny stone flakes that they fix into bone or wood handles to create composite weapons. Even without permanent farming, these nomadic groups left behind records of a rich cultural life. This is a wide shot of the Bhimbetka rock shelters, providing our earliest visual record of nomadic beliefs and activities. Notice the themes on the rock. We see herds of bison and deer alongside active hunting scenes. The artists created these using natural mineral pigments, applying white limestone and red ochre directly to the stone. Survival in this era demanded mobility. This nomadic lifestyle explains why we find no evidence of permanent houses or heavy pottery for the vast majority of human history in the subcontinent. That pattern changes during the Chalcolithic phase. This era is defined by a specific combination. People continue using stone tools, but they add copper metallurgy and settle into agricultural villages. Because communities stop moving, we stop seeing a single, uniform tool set across the subcontinent. Instead, highly localized cultures begin to emerge, like Ganeshwar in Rajasthan, Malwa in central India, and Jorwe in Maharashtra. Look at the artifact data from Ganeshwar. Because they are located near rich copper ores, this region specializes in manufacturing massive quantities of copper arrowheads and spearheads compared to their neighbors. Contrast that with the Jorwe site of Gaum. Their focus is agricultural stability, so their defining feature is village planning. The schematic shows multi-room houses, central courtyards, and dedicated structures for storing grain. By combining metalworking with agriculture, these groups end the nomadic cycle. Geography and local resources now dictate what a village produces, creating distinct regional economies for the first time. Living in permanent locations also makes pottery practical. Farmers need vessels to store surplus food, and since they no longer carry their possessions across the country, they can produce heavy, fragile clay containers. This kiln cross-section shows the mechanics behind black and red ware. The potter places the vessel upside down in the fire. Trapped carbon inside the pot turns the interior black, while the exposed exterior turns red in the open heat. Different regions developed specific silhouettes. The Jorwe potters, for example, designed these sharp-angled, carinated jugs with distinct projecting spouts. Settled life also formalizes how communities handle the dead. At Gaum, while adults were buried outside with grave goods, children were often placed inside clay urns and buried directly beneath the floors of the house. Today, these specific pottery shapes and burial customs act as archaeological fingerprints, allowing us to track how different ancient cultures specialized and organized their daily lives. We can now map the entire progression by comparing the Paleolithic baseline directly against the Chalcolithic phase across technology, settlement, and artifacts. In the Paleolithic column, we track the shrinking scale of tools, from the lower hand axe to the middle Levallois core and the upper blade. We record no evidence of pottery or permanent housing during this phase. The Chalcolithic column populates with a different set of variables. We add copper metallurgy, planned villages like Gaum, specialized two-toned pottery, and the specific practice of underfloor urn burials. This progression maps the logical stacking of human capabilities. We see a direct line from the first stone strike to the complex, specialized regional cultures of the Copper Age.